Hey world, on this one I want to go through and tell you the story about X, and this is more of a reprise, a detailed um, retelling of the previous video about the story of someone in the world. But in this one, I want to be as anonymous and objective in terms of not signifying, singling out, and exposing anyone or any company for which this story is about. And as far as the disclaimer, I will try my best to mask any kind of gender, any names, and especially any company names. Um, so I will say that this is a true story, and it is the story of X, and X is a real person, and the situations that happen to X, it's real. I will say this as the disclaimer. I plead the Fifth, the Bill of Rights. I plead the Constitution. I plead whatever rights is granted to me as the storyteller uh, in regards to supposedly me being X, or X is someone that I know, or any of that. So the only factual thing that I will admit to in disclosing is that X is a real person, and the situations that happened to X were real. But as far as any connection between myself and X, I deny everything and plead the fifth to everything. So I will leave that up to your imagination and to inquiring minds. So that's all I have to say. And like I said, um, the story and situation that will be taking place in regards to X, it just so happens that X happens to be working in the IT industry, and this does concern issues with company and management. And I'm sure, as you all know from job searching and just being in the business world, that there are people that we just can't get along with, and there's a lot of horror stories out there about bosses that you can't get along with, or just toxic environments. And so with that, this is the story with such a scenario. And with that, I already broke in 4 minutes going into that. So let me say that you've been warned that this story can be pretty long, and it can span several videos. And with that, I will be approaching this story from the standpoint of telling it as objectively as I can to mask the person and all parties' names involved. Um, and I will be telling it from that objective view, but I will be giving the rebuttal and commentating on the situation. So I will vicariously put myself in X's position, as X is going through the situation. So I will have moments where I will interject my own rebuttal and commentate on the scenario as if I was X to, I guess, supposedly give my opinion if someone was telling me this story and what my thoughts would be and how I would react. So that's to say that I will be vicariously experiencing what X uh, was experiencing, and I guess try to express that through the storytelling and express that through the video here. And let's see here, is that going on to 6 minutes or 7? Can't see here. But let me give the premise again, and I'll be removing the other video about the story of someone in the world, as this is pretty much the reprise retelling and the detailed retelling of that story. So let me get started here with part one. Pretty much the premise and the basis for X's story is that X, like many of you out in the world, has a lot of debts and bills and other financial obligations. And with the economy the way that it is, X is just trying to find ways to help X's financial circumstances improve. And this begins with X trying to find additional part-time job in addition to X's current full-time position. Did I say that right? For telling X's story? X is currently full-time employed, but X also wants to find additional part-time employment to bring in extra income. So that's pretty much the premise of this story. And like I said, I'm just keeping tabs on time while telling the story because I don't want to go over here. But going through and retelling the story of X here, that with X's initiative to go through and want to improve X's financial situation, X decided to put X's resume and posting out on Craigslist as a way to bring in new perspective, gigs and opportunities. And it just so happened that on the day that X went and submitted the resume and posting on Craigslist, the next day X was called in by X's boss to have a talk. And that talk was supposedly in regards to X's position and if X was okay. And of course, X is trying to how do I go about telling X's part here? X wants to keep X's own problems to X self, because X do not want to make X's problem boss's problem, because telling boss about X's problem doesn't help out X. And there's always that fine line of keeping what's private and personal and what's professional. So, but since X's boss inquired to X's situation, X went through and decided to tell X's boss about X's financial situation. And with that, I have to continue the story in the next video. So, I'll see you then.